All right. We are going to go ahead and get started right at the top of the hour. I want to respect your time. Thank you for being on time. We are always excited to do a presentation, hear myself talk. Just a little housekeeping here. If you want to ask a question, please ask a question in the Q&A, and either myself or one of our team members will answer it. I'm not always able to answer or see the questions coming in as you ask them, but I promise we will answer all your questions by the end of our presentation today. And if you can stay to the very, very end, we do have our question and answer session at the very end. So ask all the questions you want, throw them in the Q&A. You can send them privately or you can send them to everybody for everyone to see, because at the end of this masterclass, we are going to do a live Q&A. So if you have any questions about any part of your business, I will be here to answer that. So let's go ahead and get started with the revenue remix. This is about more money, same schedule, and better strategy. A masterclass for boutique fitness studio owners who want to grow revenue without adding more classes, more hours, or more stress. I want to see where you guys are from. So drop in the Q&A where you're from and what kind of studio you have, so we can kind of look and see who we have in the audience today. And let's get going. So my promise to you today, if I can get this to wake up presentation, there we go, is to show you how to remix your studio's revenue so you can make more money without adding more classes, grinding yourself into crazy burnout, or relying on quick fix gimmicks that, let's be honest, don't actually work. All right, so first thing, turn off all distractions. I know you have your phone sitting next to you. I've got mine. Let's just go ahead and make sure it is indeed off. And make sure you stay with me all the way until the end, because I have an exclusive bonus for you, the non-class cash flow cheat sheet, just for you guys who are joining me here live today. And that will come to you at the very end of the masterclass. So stay with me all the way to the end, and you will get that extra cheat sheet for extra revenue. And again, no classes added. This class is for you if you are hustling harder than ever, but your revenue still feels like it is unpredictable month to month. If you're tired of relying on flash sales, new students, all the bells and whistles to keep your studio afloat. And if you want clear, repeatable systems for making money that doesn't require you to wear all the hats all the time, 24/7. This class is for you if you feel like income is capped, because there are only so many hours in a day that you can teach, only so many instructors, only types of classes you can offer. If you know your studio has potential, but you feel stuck in the same revenue cycle year after year, or if you secretly wonder if you'll ever pay yourself consistently without sacrificing your sanity or your studio. Hi, I'm Amanda, if you don't know me, and if you've ever wanted to burn your business to the ground and start over, same. I know exactly where you are right now. I've been in the fitness game for over 25 years, owning, growing, selling, buying multiple businesses in the boutique fitness studio realm, from Pilates studios to bar, pole, aerial, and beyond. You name it, I have done it. I've worn all the hats. I've been the instructor, the trainer, the owner, the mentor, the barefoot floor cleaner, the mechanic, the plumber. I've coached fitness pros in 5 continents, and I want you to do it better, smarter, stronger. I've done it before. I hope to do it again with you. I was named a Lululemon Legacy Ambassador, not for being the loudest in the room, but for creating real connection, real community, and real leadership in my space. But it didn't just stay on the mat. I built one of the 1% highest grossing fitness studios in the world on Mindbody for 3 years straight. Yes, it was hustle. I have nothing against hustle, but it wasn't just that got me there. It wasn't the grit that got us there. It was remixing revenue streams. It was dialing in systems, and it was creating a studio experience that people couldn't wait to come back to. And I've also been the one answering texts at 5 a.m. when nobody showed up for their boot camp. I've been the one subbing every class. I've deposited money from one account to another just to try to make rent or payroll. Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever been in that position. that's when it hit me that the chaos wasn't everyone else. It wasn't all the other things. It was the fact that I didn't create structure in my business and I didn't have any systems in place. I was literally winging everything that I was doing. Now, I'm an award-winning business consultant and strategist, best-selling co-author, international speaker, and the co-host of Pursuit of Badassery, the podcast where we keep it real about what it actually takes to run a thriving business. If you have not listened to our podcast, obviously you should tune into it. And while I am leading our class today solo, I wanted to give a quick shout out to my badass business partner, Lynn. She and I co-created the Pursuit of Badassery together, and we've helped thousands of business owners step out of the chaos and into clarity and to the best businesses they've ever owned. I've helped hundreds, seems like more, of wellness and fitness studio owners stop spinning their wheels, create new revenue streams, and finally step into the kind of leadership their business craves. This is all about profit. This is about freedom. This is about being the studio owner that you wanted to be. This is about owning the studio that you dreamt about, which is why you started in the first place. And I don't say this to flex. I say it so that you know this isn't theory. This is tested, field-proven strategy. And I've used it time and again on repeat, rinse and repeat across the world. These are strategies that work. I'm not here to sugarcoat. I'm not here to overcomplicate. That's not my style. I'm here to hand you tools that actually help you build your business without losing yourself in the process. I'm sure you've all felt the pinch of slowly eating away at your sanity, because growing revenue isn't about hustling harder or adding more to your plate. I say all the time, I love the hustle. I am a hustler. I love the hustle, but that's not what's going to get your business to the next level when it comes to your fitness business. It's about clarity around your numbers. It's about boundaries on your offers and creating revenue streams that work for your business, not against it. Now, put a 1 in the chat if you really feel like you truly know all of your numbers, you know all of your boundaries are on point, everything is working for you. Put a 1 in the chat if you have it all dialed in. And put a 2 in the chat if, well, not in the chat, in the Q&A, if you feel like you're a little wishy-washy in some of those areas. Because that's what we're remixing today. I see some 2s popping in. Yeah, nobody's a 1. Yeah, nobody's a 1. All right, so let's real talk about high highs and low lows. I want to be very clear. I have lived every magical, mystical, horrible, awful, terrible, maddening chapter of the studio fitness journey, the fitness studio journey. This includes the, my class is packed, I'm still broke. This, maybe I should offer something else. For the love of God, if somebody texts me one more time, all of the things, all the feelings. I've scaled profits 98% in a single year without raising prices. I've turned an $80,000 business into a $500,000 powerhouse in under 5 years. I've helped clients do the same all around the world by building smart systems and solid teams. No burnout, no BS, no giving your soul up to make everything work. But I've also worked 16 to 20-hour days only to take home less than my staff. I've sat up at 2 a.m. reworking spreadsheets, wondering what I was missing. I've tried every stinking shiny offer. I've Google searched my surprised my fingers are still attached by how many times I Google searched in the first 20 years. I've transferred money from account to account. I pulled my hair out when revenue dried up overnight and I had to build from scratch. So again, this isn't theory. I felt the gut punch. I know what happens when the numbers don't add up. I've scrambled to cover rent and payroll. I've second-guessed my leadership, and I've clawed my way back in with structure, with systems, and with a big no thank you to the way everybody else does things. So that's why I teach what I teach now. It's to help you skip all the hard stuff that I had to learn the hard way. This is 25 plus years in the making of working in the fitness industry, and I don't want you to do the things that I did in year 1 through 10. This is Val, Pilates studio owner. She says, Amanda's systems let me step into ownership, not just survival mode, total game changer. Or CJ, yoga studio owner. I've never felt more confident in my business and my leadership. Since building the right team with Amanda's help, I've had more freedom and more consistent growth. We just hit our first $30,000 month, and I'm not doing it all myself. The struggle is real. You've built a great studio already, but the revenue feels like a roller coaster. So 1 month you're up, 1 month you're down, it's feast, famine, and you're always the one patching the holes because there's literally nobody else to do it. These are some of the common mistakes that we see in the fitness industry when it comes to your revenue streams. Mostly you're relying on only 1 or 2 different types of revenue streams, and those are pretty much maxed out. You can only go so far with classes and private lessons and so forth, and we're going to go over that pretty much in depth today. You're also adding quick fixes, all those flash sales, things that are trying to, endless discounts. This person gets a discount, this person gets a discount. Sure, let that person do this, and being really wishy-washy on your policies, and that's only hurting your bottom line when it comes down to it. Or you're working harder and harder instead of restructuring offers in a way that works smarter for you. I know this is exhausting. It's frustrating and it's super draining. And you're stuck running these same programs on repeat, hustling for every dollar and wondering why your studio is, basically running you rather than you running it. And I know you want steady, reliable income that's not tied to you doing absolutely everything, you teaching every single class, you being there at front desk every single day. You want a studio that makes money on autopilot because that's the only way to scale and grow. You know you're ready if you're done relying on class fees. You want revenue streams that actually fit your studio's vision and long-term growth goals. You know you're ready if you've tried winging it more often than you could imagine with your revenue, and it's only cost you sales, stability, and peace of mind. If you realize that relying on just one revenue stream isn't focused, it's a financial trap. So building revenue isn't about chasing trends. It's about really thinking about the strategy and alignment behind it when it comes to your specific fitness studio. So when you get these right, you stop hustling for every single dollar. You stop checking your bank account every time you do payroll, and you start scaling towards something that's more sustainable long-term. So if any of this hits home, while you throw a 1 into the Q&A, if this is like ringing a bell with anywhere where you're sitting with your business, you are exactly where you need to be right now. So let's stop chaos and set things right when it comes to your strategy and build revenue streams that have your back. So before we get started, I want to go back to your workbook. Hopefully you have it printed out and you have it in front of you. Grab a pen. That workbook, we're going to have sort of a follow along scenario. So if you haven't had a chance to go through it and kind of fill out the first section, that's okay. But I would recommend at the end of our masterclass today, you spend a little bit of time after the Q&A to go ahead and fill out that workbook and really start applying what we're going over today in the masterclass, because that speed of implementation will get you so much farther, and you can actually start to see some results happening this week or next, depending on how quickly you implement. So we're over 4 things today, your business growth roadmap, as it were. So the first thing is resources, and then we're going to go over revenue streams, your rhythm, and what I like to call your rebel moves. So the 4 R's that we're going over today. So this is the framework that's going to help entrepreneurs like you really leverage what you already have to create sustainable growth, because we don't want to work, I mean, I know it's a cliche, but we don't want to work harder, we want to work smarter. And this is where we start. So right here. So first things first, let's look at our resources, because you might not be using all the ones you have. So this is leveraging what you already have. You don't need more time, you need better leverage. So you've got your workbook, but I want you to think about your business asset inventory. What do you already have that you can use in a different way or use smarter? So you've got your skills. This is your expertise, your teaching methods, the type of classes that you teach, the team capabilities, like how many people you have, what their availability is. You've got your systems, so software, automations, booking platforms, workflows, anything that you already have as a system in place. And you might not have anything, and that's okay. If you don't have any systems in place, we can go over that. But let's just start with, I'm sure you all have at least one system in place, because you probably have a Google Calendar that led you to our masterclass today. And then we've got people, staff, clients, partners, community connections, strategic partners, anybody that you know that's in your sphere. Those are your people. Your tools, that could be the equipment that you have, the different numbers of studios that you have if you have more than one studio, templates, spaces, technology. And then you have your audience. This could be your social media followers, whether or not they're paid or not. And by paid, I don't mean that you paid to get them, but paid as in their actual clients, not just followers. Your email list and your general local reach, depending on how big your reach is. So these are kind of your hidden gold mines in your business. So most studio owners are really sitting on untapped potential, untapped resources. Kind of we say all the time, like you're leaving money on the table. So we want to think about like what could generate immediate revenue in your world. So this could be unused workshops and content. So what previous classes or workshops or training materials could you be repurposing in a new way for a new offering or to a new audience that might be new to you, but so maybe this is stuff that's new to them, but it's not new to your entire studio. Your dormant email subscribers. So how many, drop a 1 into the chat or into the Q&A, how many of you have people who are on your email list that have not been to a class ever, or haven't been to a class in 6 months to a year? Yeah, we all have past clients or leads that we haven't heard from in months or years, or who, you know, they made an account on your booking software, but then never actually came to take a class. So those are an untapped resource right there. And then your untrained staff potential. So we say a lot, and if any of you came to my Contractor Conundrum masterclass, we talked a lot about like team culture and how it's much easier to teach a skill than it is to teach a mindset or you know, that team culture environment. So if you have a team member who's already awesome, what skills could you maybe cross train them in? Is there another class modality? Is there additional service? Like maybe they start doing sales. Like where can you utilize those people who really fit your ideal team culture? And then neglected partnerships. This is a huge one for so many fitness businesses because there's a constant fear, I suppose, of competition and, you know, what's the next studio doing? What are they doing? But if you can really think about connecting with local businesses, influencers, or complementary studios, or even your direct competitors, you can actually get, and I put that in quotes because I don't really believe in competition the way a lot of people do, because I think that some of the businesses that are most similar to yours can sometimes be the best referral sources. So again, untapped resource potential. So the other thing I want to talk about before we talk about more about your physical, you know, assets that you have is your mindset as a resource, because your mindset will make or break the rest of this masterclass as well as your entire business. Your experience and intuition guide your decision making, and your confidence and willingness to take calculated risk is part of your leverage. You as the owner, you have that gut feeling. You have a feeling sometimes like things just aren't working out. You hire somebody, you're like, I'm not sure about them. Like that's your gut telling you something about what is and isn't working. So I really want you to step into your CEO mindset. You're not just teaching every single class that exists at the studio. I want you to step into your CEO mindset and really think about time spent reflecting and planning can multiply your results. So just as I said earlier, that after this masterclass is complete, I want you to spend half an hour, if you can, to really reflect on how this can translate to your business, your specific business, and how you can grow your revenue streams this week using these tactics. All right, so your network is revenue waiting to happen. We always say your network is your net worth. So this is past clients, employees, any advocates you have, referral sources. Who have you not talked to in a while? Who have you not asked for the sale from? Professional groups, maybe this is your BNI chapters, your networking groups, your local businesses, or social media communities like Facebook groups. Like where can you amplify your offer in a way that's going to be seen and heard around the right people? And then your strategic partnerships. This can reduce your marketing spend while boosting reach. And, you know, I think a couple of you in here have done or have been present for our strategic partnership masterclass I did before, but I'll go all in. You just need 3 to 5 to make your business thrive. So 3 to 5 strategic partners who can help you feed you business that you don't actually have to do with traditional advertising space. So this is a huge part of getting more natural, what we call word of mouth marketing in the fitness sphere. Like your strategic partners are gold when it comes to that. And then there's content reuse. Like what do you have already? I mean, a lot of you have been in the fitness industry for way longer than you've owned a studio. So do you have old blog posts, PDFs, worksheets, videos, mini courses, anything that you might have that can be repurposed into new content, new revenue generating sources? There's so many things, and I'll give you an example of what one of my clients recently used. Was they had all these old videos that they had shot during COVID when they were giving all their classes for free, like let's do free online classes in COVID. They took them down off YouTube, re-upload them onto their, website, and it became a paid membership status using all these videos they shot in 2020, and now they're repurposing those as an online membership platform. So there's lots of ways you can reuse stuff that like you didn't ever think you would use again, but these are ways you can use them creatively. Then you want to automate, systemize, and monetize. And we're moving fast, folks. What do you have already that can be more efficient? So you've got your booking platforms can trigger upsells automatically. And this is things like LoopSpark or Zapier. Some of you might be familiar with those or might already be using them, but there's a lot of really creative ways that you can upsell automatically, or you can do it manually. I don't like that for a long-term solution. However, it can be done manually if you're on a tighter budget. And then you've got automated email sequences and reactivating dormant clients with no extra time. Like I love using the email platform Kit. And if you don't have an email platform that you regularly send information out to your studio and you want some recommendations, like reach out to me, because I've used them all. I've used ConvertKit, I've used ActiveCampaign, Constant Contact, MailChimp. I mean, if I haven't tried it, one of my clients has. So if you need some automated email sequences, that's another big one that you can use. And then your templates or SOPs that allow staff to run things without you. And all of this can happen. These are resources you can use to help generate revenue. This is kind of the how you generate it, not necessarily the what you're selling, but this is the stuff, like how you're going to get this out to your people. So when you look at your workbook, I want you to think about where are the underused, and you can either circle it or you can put a check mark in the checkbox, but what are your underused resources that you currently have now that you could activate to generate new revenue streams? Now, we're going to get into how to do it and what to offer, etc. But what are some things that you may not be using that you currently have just in your back pocket that you haven't thought of in a while? Or maybe you used to do a nutrition program and you aren't doing it now. Like maybe you can pull that information back and revamp it in a way that will sell, but with using what you already have. So let's talk about these revenue streams, because now we have all of our resources. Now let's talk about how to turn them into actual revenue streams, the money. So building a stable business, one stream of income is much more risky. Multiple streams of income is long-term sustainable in very surprising ways. So there are a couple of essential revenue category streams. So first of all, we have our core offers. So these are your classes. This is what 99.9% of fitness studios have. They have their core offers. They've got classes, they've got privates, and they've got instructor trainings, like teacher trainings. Then you've got your upsells and add-ons. This is your retail products, specialized workshops, intensive, maybe a series or something along those lines. Then you've got reoccurring revenue. So this is memberships. So again, memberships sometimes will come into that core offer, but I like to put them into recurring revenue streams because it's a bit different. Any of you who run those parallel packages of memberships versus class packs, it's a bit different in how you deal with those people. So I put them in a separate category. So it's memberships, class packages. So again, people who are buying larger packages, not just the single drop-in classes, and then subscription programs. And that could be, maybe they buy protein powder from you and it comes every month, or maybe they buy vitamins from you, or maybe you have maybe they have an online subscription program. There's lots of things that can fall into that recurring revenue stream. And then you've got your passive or leveraged, which again can be part of your recurring, which is your digital products. Maybe you sell a nutritional guide on your website, or you sell certain videos, or they have studio rentals that you can do, like people can rent out your space, or you have a video library that people can rent from. Like those are much more passive and things that you can leverage when you have those already built. So successful studios usually have at least one of each category. So I want you to think about what you're offering now. Do you have at least one revenue stream coming from each of these categories. And I paused there because if you're making like $5 a month, it's not really a revenue stream. It's like a one-off, sort of worked one time, like you sold a bottle of water. Like that's not really a revenue stream. I want things that are actually showing up like as a percentage. So like 1% or higher of your revenue is being generated from each of these offers, because you need to have some money coming in consistently for it to be, for there to be analytics on it. So think of this kind of like these are legs on the table. So the more legs you have, the more stable your business is going to be. So here's some like a real life example of remixing your existing offers. So an original offer, and this is a case from one of my clients, they offered a single in-person workshop. It's like a one-time revenue. They offered a chair dancing class. It was a one-time thing. Then they remixed it one time by making it, because it was a popular one-time workshop, they made it a series. So then it becomes a 6-week progressive series, becomes a higher ticket offer. You have higher retention there. You're seeing people more often. They're getting better results. So they get thrown into a first remix that goes from single workshop to a 6-week progressive series. Then they remixed it again by videotaping that. And then they had an on-demand video, sort of an at-home version, which they turned into the people who were in the workshop or in that series could get access to it. And then they had a certain amount of time afterwards to get additional access. And then people who weren't in the class could pay a separate price to get access to that video to learn the choreo, even if they weren't in the actual class. So again, it's unlimited scaling there because you can sell it to anybody across the world. And then they had another remix of that same workshop where they had companion workbooks. So they actually made companion choreography and companion workbooks. And then they had a companion like outfit that they sold. So they had retail that they sold in the facility. And then they had like a recital at the end where everybody bought more of the retail from their store. And then they had to pay to be at the recital and their friends had to pay to be at the recital. So you see how it snowballs into this bigger thing. It started as just one workshop and it became multiple streams of income over the course of months and months and months and years, because I think she still sells that online choreo of that chair dance workshop. So it can really start adding up. So this is another success story I had, was a bar instructor. She had a single weekend class and she ended up turning it into an 8-week challenge. So she had way more people sign up. So instead of fighting every week to see if somebody was going to sign up, she made it a challenge. And then everybody and their dog wanted to be in it because she was like the better booty bar butt challenge. And she had quadruple the amount of people coming into the same revenue stream. And she didn't have to work over and over to get people in it because it was a 30-day challenge. So people were just lining up to be in that class. So here's some revenue boosters that you can launch this month. So things that you can do this month before the end of September, before October begins. So think of it as a founder's launch. You can do a new membership or a challenge. You can do a flash sale of unused private sessions or class packs. And I'm not a huge sale fan, but this is one that I like to bring back every so often, particularly this time of year. And then low ticket digital products from existing content. What do you have already that you can repurpose and sell, even if it's just a couple of times? If it's something you're using, it's not taking any of your extra energy or time, and you can certainly make a little extra money and increase value in the perceived value that your clients have in your facility. So again, going back to your workbook, what is one stream of income that you are missing, or that's really, really tiny? Like I said, it's not really a stream of income if you sell a bottle of water every 3 months. Like that $2 that you made isn't really a revenue stream. It's just like finding money on the street. It doesn't really count. It's just a windfall, a $2 windfall. It doesn't mean anything. So what is the fastest, easiest way you can add to your revenue streams? So thinking of those 4 different categories that I gave, where can you fit something else in? What are you missing? And what are you underutilizing that you already have working for you? All right, moving on to rhythm. I love the rhythm. It's the rhythm of the night, the night. Careful, folks. I'll sing this. I'll sing my way through the rest of this masterclass. All right, creating consistent cash flow. Revenue loves consistency, not chaos. And the example I love to give here is everybody is in love with the New Year's resolution rush, And everybody expects the summer slump in the fitness industry, but those are both separate revenue cycles or rhythms that you can predict and think about strategically in order to make more revenue. So just like your body performs better with consistent training, your business thrives with strategic rhythms. Most studio owners experience the feast or famine cycle at least once. If you have never experienced a feast or famine cycle, and what I mean by that, if you're not familiar with that term, is one month you have all the money, you've paid all the bills, everything's golden, and the next month you're like, oh my gosh, I need to quit my job and I need to sell everything and liquidate the studio. I can't make my rent. Those are feast or famine cycles, like having the money and then not having the money, having money and then not having the money. This is all about lacking intentional promotional schedules in your business. So to bring it into fitness terms, so overtraining is like overselling. You get burnt out. Same thing with your muscles. You can't oversell people. You're going to overdo it. They're going to burn out on sales. You've got your rest days are like recovery weeks. So these are the weeks where you're analyzing what's working and what's not in your business and actually looking at the ROI, looking at that return on investment and refining what strategies worked and what did not. Again, this is your CEO time. You have to look at the analytics or there's no way to understand what is and is not working in your business. And then you've got progressive overload. It's like scaling strategically. We want to scale strategically. We don't want to burn out. All right, so most studios struggle with the feast or famine cycles, with panic selling when bills are due. This is when you're like, okay, now I'm going to give 50% off private lessons to try to get extra revenue coming in. Offering random discounts that devalue your offers. If you're constantly asking for, if you're constantly offering discounts, it's going to make everything else seem less valuable. And it just happened to one of my clients the other day. They had somebody reach out to them wanting to sign up for a program. And the first thing they asked was, is there going to be a sale on this in a week? Because last week you had a masterclass and you had a sale on it right before. Like she was expecting the sale to come because there's been a precedent in the past that the day before a workshop, they offer a big sale to try to get the numbers filled. So she was literally waiting to buy because she was waiting for a sale. And then as soon as my client said, nope, we're not doing a sale, she instantly bought it at full price. So we teach people how to treat it. So we don't want to teach people to wait till the last second on a sale that you're going to panic sell. And then feeling like you're always on. Like this is where your studio struggles. So you're always thinking like, what's the next thing? What do I have to do? How do I'm going to make money this month? Like you're always on. That's a struggle. So we don't want to chase daily sales. We want to replace the panic selling with promotion cycles. So you have the feast or famine and you have the strategic rhythm approach, which is where I want you guys to sit. So feast or famine is the constant hustle, the bad kind of hustle, like random discounts everywhere. You're always on, you're exhausted. Like this is the high stress place that you're going to live in. And then the rhythm approach is really thinking ahead. I want you to think ahead quarterly. And I want you to think way further ahead than you are right now. So think quarterly signature promotions, consistent evergreen lower ticket offers, automate where you can, and really create that predictable cash flow. And I'm going to make it super easy for you guys because it is almost October. I can easily give you your next 2 quarters of planned promotions. That is Black Friday and New Year's resolution. This is the easiest time of year for fitness studios to think about their next steps because those are the biggest ones. So your next big signature promotion is going to happen around Black Friday. And then your next quarter, big promotions, all your New Year's stuff. So you already should be 6 months ahead in your fitness planning because this is a big, well, it's a big time for most businesses, but extra for fitness professionals. So we're moving from panic selling to predictable revenue. This means you've got weekly rhythms, you've got monthly rhythms, and you've got quarterly rhythms. That's hard to say fast. So think of it, weekly rhythms is like content themes, class promotions. Maybe you're doing like inside marketing over a specific class. Your monthly rhythms are like member appreciation, your intro offers, talking about intro offers. We want to always be talking about those. And then your quarterly rhythms are the bigger promotions, like bigger sales. I almost never do more than 4 big sales a year. And this might be also like challenges, special events, attendance challenges. There's all sorts of things you can throw in there. But you also want to have recovery weeks in there, not just for you as a person, but for your clients as well. We want to make sure that you're not burning out, but also that they're not getting oversaturated in your crazy amounts of offers. Ideally, you want to align these rhythms with normal things like back to school schedules, the seasons, New Year's. When you have these sales cycles, again, it's the summer slump. You don't have to have a summer slump. You could have that as a promotional set that you have right there. So there's lots of ways you can work with the natural rhythms that happen in the year or for your business. So action step, I want you to think about one rhythm. This is your homework, so to speak, throwing it on your workbook. What's one weekly, monthly, and quarterly rhythm that you can set to establish better cash flow? So in the next 90 days, I want you to pick one weekly rhythm. So maybe that's a theme post, class upsell, like a specific class you're going to work on. One monthly rhythm. So again, this could be member appreciation, workshops, whatever. And then one quarterly rhythm. The next two are easy: Black Friday and New Year's. And I want you to put them on the calendar. Now, I know it says before you leave the masterclass. I don't want you to like go into your calendar right now and try to figure it out. But before you go back to your next thing, so after the Q&A and you have that 30 minutes of work time, I want you to actually put these into your calendar. And it doesn't have to be perfect and like 100% worked out, but I want it in your calendar. All right, so let's talk about rebel moves. I am a rebel rouser. I don't ever want to do things. I don't want to do what people tell me to do. So let's talk about breaking the industry patterns and how you can use that to your advantage. So playing by the rules is going to keep you broke. You want to break patterns. There are plenty of instances you can see this in all industries where making something a little bit different actually puts you ahead. Think about it when they had the nerd squad that used to do your computer repair. That was something that was new and outside the industry, like actually getting nerds and making them look nerdier and making them do that work, that broken industry pattern. Or when Planet Fitness did the promotion where it was like members get free pizza. Like you don't offer pizza at a fitness facility, but yet that was one of their best promotions and still is to this day. Like that brings members in that they're going to get free pizza. Who knew? All right, so we're going to challenge pricing norms. Instead of competing on price, which you should not be competing on price because your business is not like any other business. Even if it is almost a carbon copy, it's not exactly the same. So you want to create premium offers with exceptional value that attract serious clients. Now, I'm not saying everything needs to be elite and you need to charge $1 million for your classes. And, if they can't afford that, then screw them. This is just about looking at what your business strategically needs to charge and what your value is. Because, I don't know how many of you ever were into the Zumba thing, but I was one of the first Zumba instructors in my zip code. And we offered classes at premium rates. And then as soon as some other place started charging $5, suddenly the industry standard went down to $5. And then nobody wanted to take a Zumba class unless it was $5. And so it really started to lower that price. So don't be afraid to charge what you're worth if you have a bigger value. Ditch the discounting. You do not have to offer a discount for every single thing. You do not have to have a discount before every class, before every workshop, every quarter. You don't have to do that. It is killing your profits and it is devaluing your business. I'm all for a good sale as long as there's strategy behind it, not just like throwing it out because you're really like, oh, I hope somebody buys last minute so I can make some money. And then scheduling for you first. Design your teaching schedule around your energy, your lifestyle, not the industry expectations. And I say this because as the owner, particularly, you don't have to teach on the normal hours. People will pay extra to work with the owner if you set it up in the right way. If you don't want to teach a 4 a.m. class, don't teach a 4 a.m. class. You're not going to be good at that time anyway. Hire out, find somebody else to teach that class. Don't try to fix everything and teach the class to that one person who asked for a 4 a.m. boot camp, even though you don't want to do it. Don't let them tell you what to do with your own business. And then look for local collaborations. Partner with businesses within a 7-mile radius. 7 miles is the sweet spot. So look at the businesses that are within 7 miles. Maybe that's schools, maybe that's salons, massage parlors, chiropractors, orthopedic surgeons. Like who is in a 7-mile radius? People are more likely to work out if it's 7 miles from their home or from their work. So who's in that 7 miles? Who are the people that are hanging out in your prime target. Google search it. You can actually pull up in Google and get a radius, and it shows the 7-mile radius around your facility, and start cherry picking who you want to talk to in that group. The most successful studio owners don't copy competitors. They're intentional and they break industry patterns. It's not about being reckless. It's not about being crazy. It's not about going off the rails and doing something that you know won't work. This is about being exceptional and being interesting and being something new and that can get attention. And these are a couple of my clients' real stories. We have Spin Studio. She stopped offering evening classes. And we all know how important that like 5 to 8 o'clock range is for fitness classes. She stopped doing it. She couldn't fit it in her lifestyle. So she started with a 6 a.m. class, and she focused only on professionals who needed to get to work. It was so successful, she ended up opening a 5 a.m. and a 4 a.m. class. She does not teach evening classes. She only has those 3 super early morning. She only has professionals in the class, and she makes a killing off of that really tiny little niche market. Or a Pilates instructor who worked with a nutritionist and a massage therapist and created a total wellness package. And the 3 of them together tripled their reach. They started advertising to each other, and they all got new clients based on that little like power trio. Or the value stack. So instead of discounting on your slow months, like your summer slow months, Pole Studio created a bonus bundle where she actually created a branded package, and she had other local businesses contribute to it, where it was like the take your pole journey with you, and she had like PDFs that went with it, and then there was an online subscription you could follow along from wherever you are using the door frame instead of a pole. Like, so she made a whole thing during her slow season. So there's lots of ways that you can be creative with how you create revenue. So these are your Revel mistakes. Don't do this. Don't underprice yourself. Don't overstuff your schedule. I know a lot of people think, oh, they won't join my membership because I don't have enough classes on the schedule, but then you have empty classes. That's not going to get you members because nobody sees value in that. So don't overstuff your schedules, and don't copy your competitors. Even if you think you have a unique spin, it's not. Nobody thinks it's unique except you, and you're only fooling yourself. This is about intentional strategy to try to get yourself to a place that's beyond where everyone else is. Here are your micro wins right now. So these are the things I want you to do this week if you can. You probably can't flip the whole script on the industry, but you can stop ending your CTA or ending your emails with "let me know." I want you to end your next email or your next social media post with an actual call to action instead of saying, "let me know if you're interested." Stop that and say, "sign up here, 2 spots left. Click here to sign up." Whatever you need to do, but actually ask for the sale rather than "let me know and see how you feel. Maybe next week you'll talk to me." Then I want you to look at your schedule and straight up drop a low performing class. It will free up space, even if it's just energetically, for a higher value program to take its place. And then I want you to look at your lowest price and raise it by 10%. What's your lowest priced offer right now? Can you raise it by 10%? Or maybe take 5% on your lowest 2 offers. But what's your lowest price offer? Can you adjust that this week? And then I want you to email your past clients with a VIP welcome back, something to entice them. It's much easier to get an older client to come back and an existing client to buy more than it is to chase complete strangers and try to get them to come in the first time. Okay. All right. So what rule can you break this month? How can you make your business different and stay aligned with your ideal clients? So this is a little bit of a roundup of what we've gone over. So you've got your resources, your revenue streams, your rhythm, and your Revel moves. Again, you have your workbook. I want you to go over really clearly. Take a few minutes after this masterclass to really go over what you're going to make adjustments in each up level your business. All right. So let's look at your action plan for this week. I want you to identify one underutilized resource to activate. Choose one existing offer to remix into a new format. Block time out for some CEO work. To get your rhythms right. And decide on one industry rule you're going to intentionally break, strategically break. As the CEO of your business, you get to make the rules. So I hope that you can rewrite them in a way that works for your business. So this together is your revenue remix. All of this together is going to remix your revenue. But I want to get real for a second. So you didn't open your studio to work all day long, to chase down sales, to chase down instructors, to try to figure out what's going on. If it feels unpredictable and you're hustling all the time, you're not alone, but there is a better way. It took me 25 years to learn the hard way. I have built studios very, 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 very messily, exhausted to the point where I wanted to, sell my business when I shouldn't have wanted that, or when I wanted to live inside my studio. Like if I just put a couch in the back, I could sleep here and I'll just take a little bath in the sink. Like, no. It wasn't until I started prioritizing strategy and systems and smarter revenue streams that everything sort of clicked and everything started to amplify in ways that I was amazed with. This isn't theory. This is something I have done, again, for 25 years, but not just me, in multiple countries and multiple states and multiple industries, but in multiple types of businesses, not just a pole studio, not just an aerial studio, not just a bar studio, not just a Pilates studio, not just a yoga studio, but all of them without adding more hours. If this sounds like you are who I work with. You're hustling harder every month, but still sweating how to cover rent. Your schedule is packed, but your bank account doesn't reflect it. You've got one or two revenue streams, but it feels like you're still living paycheck to paycheck. Or you're tired of discounting and just getting resentful every time somebody asks for a free class or to extend their expiration date, or they need some help with this. This isn't the problem. It's the strategy is the problem. We need to find a strategy, find those boundaries that can actually get you moving forward in your business. And Adam, a Pilates studio owner I work with, he says, I figured the only way to grow was to grind harder, add more classes, pack the schedule, and just hustle. Amanda showed me how to restructure what I already had instead of piling on more. Now revenue's up, I'm not burning out, and for the first time, my schedule actually works for me. Or Anna, prenatal and postpartum specialist. She says, the amount of change my business and I have had in just the past year has been mind-blowing. We went from local in-person to global markets, launched new programs, published a journal, and grew my team more than double. You have two choices. You can duct tape your business together, keep panicking, posting, discounting, or you can plug into a proven strategy that helps you remix your revenue, work the same hours, and finally build a business that actually supports your lifestyle. You don't need more time. You need a plan. You don't need another Google search. The Revenue Remix showed you sort of how to leverage what you already have to grow smarter and not harder, but this is just where it starts. So this isn't the end all be all, though it is a great place to start, and I hope you do implement what we did in our masterclass today. But I want to invite you to the Badass Amplifier, the BA as we call it, which is a supercharged live accelerator experience. If you are ready to take what you learned in the Revenue Remix to the next level, this is where you need to be. This is about activating underutilized resources, remixing your offers, breaking industry rules, and boosting your income overall. That's just the start. The Badass Amplifier is where the Revenue Remix becomes a whole business transformation. This is about building systems. It's about leading with integrity and with confidence, and it's about scaling your revenue consistently on a bigger, larger scale than you probably even imagined. When you join, you get 4 strategy calls a month with not 1, but 2 seasoned consultants who've scaled 6, 7, and at this point, 8-figure businesses for their clients. We've got done for you templates, systems, scripts, everything you could need to grow your business in the most incredible, thriving way imaginable. This is a 6-month sprint to nail your strategy, strengthen your systems, and scale without burning out. If you're sick of doing everything right and still feeling behind, if you're tired of feeling like the only one who cares in your business, if you're exhausted by doing everything all the time, putting out all the fires, that's not a roadmap to growth. That's a roadmap to burnout. What if 6 months from now, your business actually ran itself? What if? without the burnout, without babysitting, without winging it, without Google searching, without questioning every move that you make. Here's what you will achieve in 6 months of the Badass Amplifier or the BA. You will actually walk away with a system for sales and revenue that works all year long, not just this month, every month. Strategic clarity that replaces confusion and direction. This is where it gets easier to make those decisions, where you have the confidence in your leadership and in your ability to lead your company that comes easily. A business that works even when you don't. Take a vacation. And live support to course correct. Live support, that's something that I don't know of any other business program that does, where not only do you have a WhatsApp group that you can ask, you have a community that you can ask, and you have live coaching calls every single month. This isn't about figuring it out alone. You've been doing that for a long time. You've wasted enough time guessing. This is a badass business community, surrounding yourself with high-performing business owners just like you in all industries. But this, I love working with the fitness industry because the challenges that you have are unique to the fitness industry, and there are ways around those challenges that might be surprising to you. And this is if you've tried chasing every new client, scrambling last minute, hoping that sales come through. If you're tired of the feast or famine, if you're done winging it with all the discounts, if you want predictable revenue, this is where the needle moves fast. This isn't just about revenue. This is about guidance and strategy for every aspect of your business. It's your marketing, it's your sales, it's your revenue streams, it's your finances, it's your social media, it's your networking, it's everything as part of the BA, because your business isn't just one thing. This is Emery, she's in the BA. She says, lifesaver and worth every penny. I'm so thankful I am part of this program. Just checked my bank account and we are at the highest it's ever been. Last month was the best month we've had yet. When you join today, you get full access for 6 months. You get bonuses. This is a total value of over $27,000 for just $2,297. And I know what someone in my Q&A is going to drop in the link. It is badassamplifier.com/remix. And if you have more questions, if you have more things, you can drop it into the chat, drop it into the Q&A. I know my team is dropping that link into the chat right now. But that's not all. I love the bonuses. So bonus number 1 is FlowTox, your quick cash flow injection plan. This is Botox for your bank account. Now, I know I said that I don't like sales, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. This is 45 plus cash injection ideas that actually work specifically for the fitness industry. These are the things, tried and true things that I use whenever there's a business that isn't quite making it. This is where I go back to every single time to try to get that cash flow injection that every business needs every so often. Bonus 2 is your revenue boosting offer lab. This is how you build mini courses, packages, add-ons that clients actually want. This is one of my favorite ways to, this swipe content, take the content, use it yourself. This is how you're going to price your offers so that the clients actually want to buy what it is you're selling and how you're remixing things. And then bonus number 3 is the Freedom Formula systems and scheduling made simple. Now, I know a lot of you have schedulers. That doesn't mean that you're using it to the optimum way. So this is about planning classes, staff, and events with ready-to-go scheduling templates, streamlining all of that onboarding, and fixing the bottlenecks that you have in your business. Game changer. So Rebecca, Pilates studio owner, she says, I used just one of Amanda's FlowTox strategies and made over $3,000 from one email in less than 12 hours. It was incredible. It was incredible. It was awesome. She used one email. She basically swipe copied it and was able to get an extra $3,000 of revenue from her existing client base in one email. And if you want full throttle personalized support, that's why we're talking about one-on-one coaching. One-on-one coaching is the shortcut to bigger results. If you are ready, you are done, you don't want hand-holding, you want high-level strategy, you want strategy meets accountability, that's where I come in. It is my favorite thing to do. And whether you are buried in chaos or client work, one-on-one coaching can give you a personalized game plan to help you strategize. It can help you find out what's holding you back, where you're leaking money, map out the next best money-making move. Like, see where your bottlenecks are, help you stay on track. It's really hard sometimes. It's the whole forest for the trees. It's hard to see what's going on in your business. And I can be that outside, I am that outside person who will tell you how it is. It's not always pretty. And the best part is when you say yes to private coaching, you actually get access to the Badass Amplifier completely for free. It is my bonus to you as my one-on-one coaching client. We have private coaching consulting for 6 months at $7,200. That includes weekly one-on-one calls, personalized strategy and accountability, unlimited support in between, and it includes the Badass Amplifier for $2,297 value, 100% for free for you. I always thought the summer slump was part of the job. Amanda helped me make one hire and implement one strategy that gave us our best sales month ever. And right during June, our slowest month. I can't wait to see how this changes everything. Licia, dance studio owner. Listen, I know not everybody has a couple grand to throw around. If you're not sure about one-on-one coaching, this is a link for a free consult call to see if it's the right fit. If you feel like you're ready for one-on-one coaching, if you are ready to jump ahead, get fast-tracked into your business, please click this link. I mean, you can't click it on the presentation, but they're going to throw it into the chat. Click on this and see if you're ready for a one-on-one consult call. I will work through with you and see where you are in your business. And if you're ready to up level, then this is the place for you, because not only does it include one-on-one coaching with me, it also includes the Badass Amplifier, and you can get additional coaching from my Badass business partner, Lynn. She's incredible. Combined, we have over 50 years of entrepreneurial experience, and it is the way to grow your business faster. Again, it's badassamplifier.com/remix to join the BA. And we start October 1st. A new round starts, and I want you in the room with us. Before working with Amanda, my income was all over the place. Within weeks of applying her strategies, I had a clear plan, steady cash flow, and a schedule that finally felt doable. No more panic selling, just predictable growth. From Ingrid. When you invest today, you get all of this for just $2,297. But because we never want it to be about the money, we never want money to be the reason why you can't get the results that you need for your business, we do have payment plans available. We have scholarships available, and we have sliding scale. So if you're ready to see your business growth, there's really no excuses. If you head to badassamplifier.com/remix, you can scroll straight down to that payment area, and it gives you an application to fill out for sliding scale and scholarships if you need it. Or if you go to the checkout page, there are payment plans available. We want to see your business grow. So don't let money stand in the way. It really isn't part of the obstacle. So quit telling yourself that that's the reason why your business isn't growing. And because I love my deciders, I'm a go-getter. We have our deciders only bonus as well. Be one of the first 3 to enroll in either the BA or my one-on-one coaching, and you'll get a 60-minute strategy session with me. It's a $475 value, and you'll get an extra month inside the Badass Amplifier, a total value of over almost $900 in bonuses just for making a decision faster, just for being the person to say yes a little bit faster. And this is only for the first 3 people. So don't overthink it. If you're in, you're in. Be one of the first 3, and you'll get those extra bonuses as well. These are some of my client wins from the last 9 months. These are the texts that I wake up to, and these are the reason that I do what I do. I love getting texts like these in the mornings, sending me screenshots of your bank accounts, telling me how things are working or what's not working. This is why I do the work. And this is the result. These are the results that I want to see for you guys. This is what I want to see for you. This is the text I want from you. I want a text from you that says, I just made $42,000. I want that text from you. I hope you guys want that text for yourself. So you have 2 doors and 1 decision. You can keep spinning your wheels. You do all the work. You can keep hustling. You can keep having empty classes, or you can build your freaking business the way you know is possible, with proven frameworks, with strategies that actually work, and support from people who get it, who've been there, who've done it before. You already know what happens if you do nothing. So what if this changes everything? Don't wait for the perfect moment for clarity, you create it. Join the Badass Amplifier, badassamplifier.com/remix. We have 2297 or payment plans with scholarships or sliding scale. If you want those next level results, one-on-one with me, plus you'll get that Badass Amplifier as an extra bonus. Don't wait to be perfect. Decide to be powerful. The doors close September 21st at 7 p.m. So I want you in the room with us. Again, badassamplifier.com/remix. And of course, you waited till the very end, so you get the extra bonus. We're going to throw into the chat a link to get this non-class cash flow cheat sheet. It is coming to you right now in the chat, so make sure you're clicking on that so you get access to it before you leave the masterclass. Again, deciders only. First 3 to enroll get extra special bonuses, so make sure you are one of the first 3 to click and enroll. And Q&A. So I am going to go through our Q&A and chat. We had quite a few questions that came in the Q&A. I'm going to go through and answer all of the questions, and I will stay on for as long as you guys have questions. And this can be about anything business related, or I guess you can ask me about my favorite foods and things too. You can ask whatever you want. But if you have any questions that came up, let me scroll through here. Okay, I've got a question right here is, what's the difference between your one-on-one versus Badass Amplifier? So you guys are fitness, you know the difference between the difference of a group class versus a private session. So a group class is just what we saw. It's a group class. You're with everybody. It's the energy of a group. You've got a lot of different people around you. There's so much support and community there. There's a lot that can be gained in our group community. But you might be the kind of person who needs one-on-one attention, or you might be the person who thrives in a group class and needs one-on-one attention. So if you want to have both, you might as well have both. But that's the difference. We all know that when you have personal training sessions, you're going to get a little bit further. If you are really working on a specific thing, a big trick in your business, or a big trick in your fitness world, getting a private session will take you to the next level faster. That's just the way it is. So it's the same here with the Badass Amplifier and with one-on-one coaching. They're both great. They're both going to get you your business fit, but one-on-one coaching will get you there a little bit faster, and it will be very specialized to what you're working with. So, if we're doing the fitness analogy, like if you have an injury, if you have something else you're working on, you might want to have a private so that you can really work on fixing that in a more controlled environment or a more private environment, whatever that looks like to you. So just like with the fitness world, you have both sides of things. So if you have things that you're working on in your business, you might benefit from doing one-on-one. But the group is fantastic. There's so much energy there. And we've got people from all over the world on the same platform and in the WhatsApp group together and in these coaching calls. So you get a lot of insight from how other people are doing things and a lot of support. I mean, people are cheering you on, telling you you're doing a great job. And it's so refreshing to see how the rest of the world is activating their businesses. So I love our group. It's one of my favorite parts is doing our group coaching. It's just inspiring being in a room full of so many incredible entrepreneurs. All right, next question popping up here. Oh, looks like we've got, explain what you mean by selling unused classes and package. Okay, so earlier in the masterclass, I talked about one of the ways I create a revenue stream is by selling unused classes. And what I mean by that is you all have people in your facility who let their classes lapse, like they missed the expiration date, they've got extra classes in their package that they're not using, or maybe you have a membership that's month to month and they missed some classes and there's no rollover. So they have some classes like sitting in their account. Well, I let people reactivate those classes for a fee. So not always, but we do flash sales every so often where it's like, reactivate your classes for $35. And so they can go back and use the classes that they've already paid for, and they can get them reinstated for a fee. So if somebody has like 5 or 6 classes sitting in their account, that have expired, it can be a really great deal, but even some people only have one or two will use it because that the price that you're charging might be less than your drop-in. So to them, it's worth it to spend the extra money to reactivate what they've already paid for. So it's just a way to upsell something that already exists in your business. And you can do the same thing for expiration dates. If they want to extend their expiration date, you can say, okay, well, if you want an extra week, that's going to be $30. You want an extra week to finish your classes, you didn't finish them all in time, that's $30. You know, assuming they do that before it's actually expired. You know, there's all sorts of ways you can kind of, again, upsell or repackage something that they've already bought and that they've already paid for. But they're not, and before you get pushback on it, they're paying for the convenience of having that extended time. So they're paying for the time, they're not paying for the class. So that's the difference. Like they've already paid for the class, now they're paying for time. So it's just another way to kind of redo what you're already doing in your business. Does that make sense? Okay. Next question is more examples of remixing your revenue. Okay. So another example of how you would remix revenue. Again, I've got a client right now who is, they had they used to run a nutrition program through their business because they had a nutritionist that was on staff, but now they don't have the nutritionist on staff, but they have these old PDFs. And so they were able to take those old PDFs, which were more generic. It was like, you know, you kind of fit a profile. Do you fit this, or this? And they would sell those nutritional. So it's like selling recipe books, basically. And then you can do all sorts of things, but again, using existing content that they already had. It was proprietary for their business. So they were able to resell it, even though that professional was no longer on staff. That was, you know, it was owned by the studio. So they were able to resell it and repackage it in a different way. So there's lots of ways, again, you can redo and reuse things that you already have in your business. Next question. When do you meet for your coaching sessions? Okay, so if it's I don't know if you meant by one-on-one coaching or if you mean the Badass Amplifier. The Badass Amplifier meets 4 times a month. So currently it's the first and third Thursday of the month, depending on where you are in the world, because some people it's Fridays, depending on where you are. But we meet on the first and third Thursdays, and then as sessions continue and as they grow, we kind of cap the session. So once too many people are in that Thursday, then we open a different day. So you're not going to have like 600 people in a room where you don't get personal attention. They're actually very small groups. So everybody gets an opportunity to ask a question. It's not a huge, like giant room full of people where you never get to say anything. And then if you're talking one-on-one, we meet when you want to meet. So we meet 4 times a month, and you know, I've got clients that meet at 5 a.m. I've got clients that meet at 4:30 p.m. Other clients that meet at 7 a.m. I mean, you get to choose what day and what day of the week that you meet, depending on our schedules. So it's really just setting up and aligning our schedules to make sure that we meet the same time. I will say I do like to meet the same time every week, because then it's like a class. You know, you're Monday at 5 o'clock, you have ballet. I want it to feel like that, where you have something on your schedule. It's much easier for you to figure out what you're doing in your world if everybody's on the same schedule. All right. Another question coming in. Feel free to keep adding questions. I will stay on as long as you have questions. So if you have any questions, throw them into the Q&A and I will answer them as they come in. I gotta keep scrolling with my homies. Scroll. So many. I love seeing where you guys are from. Yay! I actually like seeing that some of you like found me on Facebook, which makes me so happy. Like, yay, Facebook does work. See, folks, those of you who think social media is dead, some of you are from Facebook. I see you. I know what group you're from. So super excited to see that. All right, another question. Tell me about the scholarship and what the scholarship application looks like. Okay, so scholarship and sliding scale is available for the Badass Amplifier. If you go to thebadassamplifier.com/remix and you go down to where it says pay, there is a separate button. It's huge. It would be very hard to miss. It's a huge button that says apply now for scholarship. And that will take you to a form that you fill out. And it's just like any form, it's just an application form and your name, your information about your business. And then at the end of that, you'll schedule a meeting, a call to talk to us about, why you need a scholarship, why you're interested in being part of the program. It's a very short, casual call. There's no obligations there. It's just a call to see where you are and what you need for your scholarship and for sliding scale. So it's a very short application process. So if you're on the fence and money's the reason, don't let that be the reason. I would absolutely recommend to fill out that scholarship application, and we review them regularly. So we look at those scholarships on a rolling basis. So fill it out. You never know. You could be a winner. The answer is always no if you never try. So if it's something that's on your mind, definitely go in and fill out that application. Again, it's just a simple form to fill out, and then there's an interview so we can get to know you a bit better after the fact that you schedule that, and then we'll let you know what the process is from there. So might as well try and fill out that application when you get an opportunity. All right, next question. You say that it's a small group when you're doing the group coaching, but how small is small? Okay, so we've been on group coaching calls where only one person shows up and one person gets a full hour for free. And we've been on calls where 10 or 12 people show up or 20 people show up, but there's always time for everybody to ask a question. And there's so much value in a group coaching session, because even if Susie asks a question about her studio, what Susie's asking could be applicable to your studio. Like, if somebody's having problems, let's say, for example, like I'm having retention problems in my studio. If you're having retention problems in your studio, it doesn't really matter that Susie asked the question first. You're still going to get value from that information. So the classes, the coaching sessions vary from week to week. I mean, you get out of it what you put into it. So there is going to be that aspect of it. So if you're showing up and you're putting in the work, then you'll be able to get your questions asked. And again, there is also a WhatsApp group where you can ask questions in real time. And there's also a community online where you can ask questions. So you have an avenue to get those questions answered. And you also, I didn't even really talk about that there's training. So every month there's an additional training, and whatever you want to learn or work on, we make trainings around that. So it's very, I guess the word is bespoke, but it's very customized. So if you need help on your SEO, we're going to do a training on SEO. If you need help on network marketing, we're going to do a training on network marketing. If you need help on, your sales process, we're going to do training on that. So it really does encompass all parts of your business. It's not just about revenue or about retention. It's not one thing. It's your business as a whole, because we really see business as a holistic view. We don't look at business as just one thing. Like there's only one thing wrong. There's no such thing as a business that only has one thing working or one thing not working. I've never seen that in over 25 years where it's just one thing. Unless that's a whole other story. But that's why we think about your business from a holistic view, because there's a lot of things happening in your business. And so as things change, we want to be able to adjust in real time and make those adjustments for your specific business. So it's very personalized to your business, even though it's a group program. Okay. Any other questions? Let's see a couple people. Last questions. I think I answered that one. Did I forget anybody's question? I don't want to leave without answering everything. So if you have any more questions, please feel free to ask them. Throw them into the Q&A and I will answer them for you, because I don't want you to feel like you've left the masterclass without getting some answers that you have about any part of your business. I promise it doesn't have to be specifically about revenue strategies. It can be about my favorite playlist or my favorite class, or, how many times I slept at my own studio. It's an alarming amount of times. Any last questions? No? I see you in here. See you, Boo. A couple of you in here still. All right, well, if that's all the questions that we have, guess I can stop recording. You don't really need to hear this.